mistake at stage 2 and kind of lost track position, and we did a really good job and had a good pit stop, and was able to start in the front 2 rows. And the last restart, I guess, the 36 did a great job. Riley did a really good job of pushing me kind of where I needed it, especially when we were leading the top lane. He hasn't run too many Cup races at all. I think the only other speedway he's run is maybe Daytona a month ago. So he did a really good job of kind of understanding where to get on me and carry momentum. So appreciate him for that. And I'll say he did a good job. And yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing was getting clear to the bottom down the back stretch in front of the 24 to get alongside the 4. And that made it to where, okay, now it's a drag race between he and I. And the biggest job too was making sure the 24 didn't get clear. So I kind of had a drag break to make sure the 4 stayed outside the 24 to kind of make sure one of us won and made sure the 24 couldn't jump outside of me and made sure I had his help. So yeah, just a neat day, fun day. It's always fun to win these things, and you have to appreciate them because they're so hard to do. And we hung in there all day, and fun to drag race Kevin there at the end. I hate it had to be us to beat him at his final speedway race, but it was definitely fun to race with someone like that, especially coming down to the end where it gets pretty wild.
All right, we're going to now go to questions. If you have a question, go ahead, raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you. We'll start in the middle with Justin. Oh, sorry, middle, right there.
Justin Schuler kicking the tires. Ryan, first off, congratulations. I'm sure you're thrilled you don't have to worry about the Roval.
Yeah.
But what is it with you and Talladega and your wins here being 7,000s, 7,000s, 12,000s? I mean, usually when people win, they're big wins. For you, it's kind of the opposite, where it's very narrow wins.
I don't know. It's not like I planned it. It's just one of those things. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we do a good job here at these plate tracks, and of kind of trying to position ourselves towards the front of these things to where you have a shot at it at the end, and that's really all you can ask for. And sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. I mean, sometimes you lose them by 5 feet, sometimes you win them by 3 or 4 feet. We lost the 500 one year by a handful of feet. We've happened to win a couple of these things by a combined amount of maybe 8 feet. So just one of those things that's tough, and you just have to try to put yourself in the best spot, and whether it happens for you or not, you kind of accept it. So.
And then you were saying a little bit earlier about you kind of drag racing with Harvick, but go back about maybe 3-4 laps to go. You and Harvick were working really well in that second lane. Were you surprised that he dropped down after you guys had been working together for the past dozen laps?
No, I mean, he was trying to figure out what lane was going to be the best, and what had more help. And so, I think he was just kind of playing the lane game, trying to figure out which one was going to have the best run and which one was going to be tighter together. And they were both pretty even, I think. So it was kind of his choice, right, of what you think is coming and which one you don't think is kind of being there. He went up and blocked the top down the back, coming to the checkered, and then opened the bottom up for me. So it's one of those weird things. It's, you're looking in your mirror, your spotter's talking, and you're trying to figure out which lane has more energy, right? And so you're kind of hopping around trying to figure out what lane is going to help you out more. And I wasn't really surprised. I mean, that lane kind of surged forward, and he went down to try to block it. So it didn't really surprise me. Just going with the right lane at the time, and judgment call really at that point.
All right, we're going to come up front to Jordan, right here, all the way to the front.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. That move on the backstretch where you darted from the outside to the inside and kind of split William and Kevin, did you know you were clear, or was it just I'm going here and I got a hole and I got to go?
I knew it was going to be close. I wasn't sure how clear I was. I honestly kind of made my move, I think, before Josh said I was clear. So I knew it was going to be tight, but I mean, that was the only chance to make that move, right? If I didn't make it then, I feel like that bottom lane would have got there to my left rear, and now I'm not leading a lane. So just kind of halfway knowing I'm clear and just kind of committing to it.
I know this isn't going to change how you did things over the last couple laps, but is your racing Harvick? Are you in your mind at all? You're like this is his last time here. This could be his last shot at a victory, or any of those things going through your mind at all?
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he's another competitor at that point. You know, I mean, it's that's really the only thing you're thinking about. So, yeah, another race. I mean, it was super fun to race with him, drag it out to the end, you know, down the front stretch with him. And I apologize to some people, the fans who had his shirt on after the race. I saw Victor Lane. Sorry I beat your guy, but yeah, just another competitor at that point.
All right, Jenna, right here up front. Oops, sorry.
Jennifer AP, hey Ryan, congratulations. Obviously you're through to the round of 8. That's practical part of it, but from the mental side of that, how much easier does it make this week for you?
Yeah, it definitely makes it a lot easier, for sure. You know, but honestly, I thought we did a good job after Texas. You know, I made a mistake, sped, put us in the back, got us in a wreck. And now we're below the cut line. Our group did a really good job of just staying calm, you know, understanding we have 2 more races left. Just go try to do our job, and whatever happens, happens. So we did a good job of kind of maintaining our mental stability after Texas. But yeah, I mean, it's just so much pressure off whenever you can win in one of these races in one of the rounds, especially the first or second. It just relieves you. Like I talked to William today at driver intros, and he's like, "This is like the most fun speedway race I'm ever going to have because I don't have to stress about it, right?" So you kind of just feel free. It does take some pressure off. I mean, you go try to win the race next week for sure, but maybe you can be a little bit more aggressive, you know, on stages or back. Maybe you flip the stages, try to go win the race, you know, instead of having to go get points in the stages. I feel like a lot of guys are going to have to do that if they're on that agenda of kind of being close to the cut line. So it just kind of changes the way you approach it a little bit too. But yeah, very relieving, that's for sure.
And I asked Jonathan this, I'm curious your take. You've got this really weird stat. You've only got 5 top 5 finishes all year, but 2 wins. What do you make of that?
I didn't know that stat.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I don't know whether to like that or dislike it.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like, yeah, it's kind of been up and down. I feel like we were, you know, really solid until I went in Charlotte, and then so yeah, up to Sonoma, and then we kind of lost our way a little bit after the break, and just struggled, you know, to kind of find speed and put together races and making mistakes, whether it's my mistakes or pit road. And I feel like we've done a good job as the playoffs have started to kind of managing these races like we need to and kind of getting back on track. So yeah, it's kind of weird about that. I feel like we had a lot more top 5s last year and contended for more wins probably. But didn't execute very good. And I feel like this year we've executed pretty good, especially the 2/3 point of this year, and that's something to be super proud of. And it's definitely shown that we've, you know, done a good job of believing in each other and just doing our job, you know. And so those guys are awesome at that.
All right, go ahead.
Marshall Smith, Stanford University. First off, congrats on the win, Ryan. You're now tied with drivers like Davey Allison and Cale Yarborough for the number 1 wins at Talladega. Can you speak on like what this track means to you and how much it shaped your racing career and love from the fans?
Yeah, I love this place. I mean, I accepted this place early on in my Cup career as I feel like people have 2 opinions on speedways. Either they love them or they hate them with a passion. And I kind of made the decision I'm going to love these places, and I'm going to accept if something bad happens to me here, right? If you get in a wreck, that's not your fault, right? You're just going to accept it and not stress out about that. And once you kind of put that in your head of you're just accepting that these things can happen here, now you can focus on trying to run well and win, right? You're not worried about all this stuff for coming here, disliking the track, like, oh, I can't stand being here, the speedway races are dumb, you know. It's not really the right mindset to have, so I just kind of did that early on, and it's, you know, benefited us mindset-wise coming to these places. And yeah, it means a lot to win here. I grew up watching Dad race here for a long time. I love the area. The fans here are spectacular, and being able to meet a bunch of people has been fun. And getting to know a lot of people, you know, from the Speedway also has been amazing. And you know, just really fortunate to have good friends here that treat me like family. So yeah, really and I think you appreciate these things more because it's so hard to win in these places. You know, it's just such a up in the air thing. You never know if it's going to work out for you or not. So you have to really appreciate whenever you can win here, and it's really, really fortunate. We've been lucky enough to win here 3 times, but you know, that's pretty neat that we've, you know, same as Yarborough and Davie. That's pretty special. So that's pretty cool.
All right. There's a lot of hands up. Please be patient. We're going to get to as many as we can in the time that we have. We're going to come up front now to Kelly, Jordan, Shane, and then Steven. Right up front here. Kelly, raise your hand if you can.
I can hear you. If you don't want to wait for the mic.
I'm a rule follower, Ryan.
Sorry.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. Ryan, you've been to the round of 8 before. The hump has been getting past the round of 8 to the final 4. Aside from saying execution, is there something about that round that you can focus on, you and this team, to get past that roadblock?
Yeah, I think just learning from mistakes. You know, I feel like I made mistakes. Last year I made 2 massive mistakes and kept us out of Phoenix, you know, so I think learning from prior experiences is beneficial there. Obviously, you need your cars to be fast enough because it gets super tough, and these racetracks are, you know, there's no super speedway, there's no road course. It's like traditional tracks, and then it gets super hard. I mean, when everything resets, you have guys that have tons of points. Today helped us out a little bit, but a couple guys have way more playoff points than us, so that makes it super tough. But no, I think if we can just learn from past mistakes and have our cars fast and just, you know, not mess up, really. I mean, you have to perform, so I can't believe he took the execution word away from me. But no, I think just believe in each other and continue to work. You know, I feel like our cars haven't been quite the speed they needed to be to compete with maybe like the 5 or you know, the 11's been fast, but I think we're still working, and it's gonna be a big shot in the arm for us. So I'm excited to see what we have for them when we unload in Vegas.
So speaking of Vegas and Homestead, you're going to start with 2 intermediate tracks. You look at your numbers this year; they might be a little bit deceiving. You've got a couple top 10s, but then you've got some finishes outside the top 15. So intermediate speed-wise, I mean, how are you feeling about 2 of those in that round before you even get to Martinsville?
I mean, I obviously feel good about them. We've been working super hard to try to find this intermediate speed. I feel like, you know, we've gotten better. Like, we ran better at Kansas than we did prior. We had a good run going at Texas. Didn't qualify good, but kind of got up through there and was able to maintain. So, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell until you unload. You know, you're always trying to work on stuff, but you got to have confidence that you're going to unload fast and with speed and be able to compete.
All right. Jordan, if you'll raise your hand, please. Thank you. And then Shane, you go after Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. If Kevin Harvick hadn't lost Riley Herbst, his pusher at the end, do you think Harvick is able to, do you think you're still able to hold off Harvick at the end there?
I don't know. I haven't really seen a replay of how much help the 36 got pulled off of him. Did someone go 3 wide or something to the top of the 36?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, I haven't seen the replay. So
the 36 spawn. I mean.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Yeah, I don't know how they kind of developed. All I knew is that the 24 was pretty close to me, and I saw the 36 for a second with maybe a car length off the 4. When the 24 got to me, I felt fairly confident that I could kind of nose ahead, just because he was pretty tight on my bumper. But yeah, you never know how those things work out. I just, you know, tried to make sure the 24 didn't get clear in 3 and 4, and then once I knew he wasn't clear and the 4 was going to be able to box him in, you just hope you get a good push to try to, you know, maintain your run and make it. Well.
Shane Kahn, Charlotte Observer. A lot of times in wins, you know, you're leading for the last 10 laps, sometimes leading for the majority of the end. In this case, when was that moment where you kind of realized that you had won?
It took a few seconds. I wasn't really 100% sure if we beat Harvick or not. It's kind of a weird race here. You know, I've won a couple other ones I've won here. We led a lot. Like, we led a lot of laps and kind of controlled the race. This one we didn't really lead much. I mean, like single-digit laps I think we led, and just kind of a different way. But we still were up there all day. We just never really like controlled the lead. It was hard to control the lead, honestly, today, whoever you were. But yeah, it takes you a few seconds when they're that close. You don't really know. And Josh confirmed it pretty quick, so that was nice.
And what was going through your mind as you realized that you had won? And, you know, obviously, usually you kind of know, you're kind of unsure, you know it's a close one, and then in the end, you actually realized that you had won the race, and you kind of realized after. What was that like?
You just appreciate it. You know, you understand you did a good job and you put in 500 miles of really hard work to try to get to this spot, and it means a lot whenever it's, you know, it comes to fruition. So just super cool. I was debating whether to do a burnout or not. I usually don't do them, but I was really, really excited, so I did one. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. But no, it's a special feeling, especially like I said earlier, when you can win here. It's really hard to do, and you have to appreciate those moments.
Why don't you do burnout?
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Dale Inman pulled me aside one day, and he said, "Hey, you don't see the winner of the Kentucky Derby get off his horse and start beating the shit out of it." So, so that's why I don't do burnouts. Well, I didn't do a burnout after one race, and he was like, "I like how you don't do burnouts," and then he told me that story, and I was like, "Well, I'm definitely not. She might be mad at me for doing one and breaking our rule, but yeah." The Inman quote.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.